Let's talk about the 8 dimensions of wellness. So in a previous video, I mentioned there are 8 dimensions of wellness. There's an acronym, PISSY, that I use to remember 8 dimensions. But when I first started learning about wellness back when I was in college, there were actually only 5 dimensions that were kind of talked about or really known about or analyzed. So in this video, we're going to talk about the first 5 original dimensions, so the PISSY, and then in the second video in the series, we'll talk about the last 3, the FI. Sound good? If you want to see this, go ahead, like, subscribe. Let's do this. So what is the first dimension of wellness? Let's talk about it. P, physical. Physical. All right, so physical is probably the most obvious dimension of wellness when we kind of think about health and wellness in general. So for me, physical encompasses a couple things. Of course, exercise, activity, movement, those things are there in the physical, but also like what I cook, what I fuel my body with, because when I do movement and I eat well, that fuels my body in a great way, then it has other positive impacts, like maybe my microbiome is really healthy and maybe it increases my immune system. So I think you get the point. Those are all encompassed in physical dimension of wellness. Second dimension, intellectual. So for me, intellectual is like learning new things and reading books and articles, listening to podcasts and interviews. Maybe it's watching a documentary on something that I didn't know about. Also, maybe having long, deep conversations about relevant topics. So again, this is pretty straightforward, kind of what you would think about intellectual, although it's not necessarily like classroom learning, although it could be. But it's just kind of learning, broadening, challenging the mind in different ways. Intellectual wellness. So let's talk about social wellness, and that's really the who and the how often or how much you engage with other people. Now I realize that with technology, this is maybe morphing a little bit. So when I think of social interaction, I'm thinking like literally social in-person interaction. That would be like supplemented with phone calls to people that you couldn't see on a regular basis, or family that live far away, or whatever it might be. But I feel like now it's being supplemented a lot by the technology, the video chats, the Zooms, the Teams, the FaceTimes, the whatever all of those things are. Here's the deal. I don't think that this technology replaces the need for human interaction, but I think that it certainly does help, and it provides a way to socialize with people that you actually can't go and see for any number of reasons. The second S, spiritual. Oh boy, can this be a lot of things to a lot of different people. Hold on, let's talk about it. So this could be organized or unorganized religion. For sure it would fall into this category, but also like non-religious connection with like a creator, the universe, whatever that is to you. Also like communing in nature, meditation, yoga, journaling, deep breathing practices, and other things that I can't even think of or haven't even learned about or been exposed to myself might fall in this category, at least as I see it. So I think it's important to note that not everybody needs the same amount of each dimension of wellness. It's kind of like you might have different size cups for different types of drinks, right? Or you might have a mug, you might have a small glass, sometimes you have a shot glass, you might have a champagne flute, there's wine glasses, martini glasses, right? You have a special glass that holds a certain amount of that drink. Well, I feel like wellness is kind of the same thing. Different dimensions of wellness call for different amounts for each dimension. Emotional wellness. Are your emotional needs being met? Do you have a support system? Do you have somebody to talk to when you need or want it? This could be a variety of people. It could be a friend. It could be a partner. It could be a therapist. Therapy is an incredibly valuable tool to a lot of people, especially when you find the right therapist for you. So let's really work to destigmatize getting help or getting therapy. End rant. This one can be a little more amorphous, like maybe you're journaling or doing morning pages, or some people work through some of their emotions with creative endeavors like painting or music or dance or some form of movement. Maybe they like running or walking or being in nature. So I think what you're starting to see is that some of these dimensions really start to overlap, and it's maybe not as clear-cut or as obvious as you might have originally expected. So what does the fee in Pissy Fee stand for? Well, find out by staying tuned in so that you can find out in the next video. Also, I'd love to hear your guesses on what the next 3 dimensions might be. Again, the acronym is FEE, F-E-E. And I look forward to reading your comments and your guesses, and I'll see you in the next video for the next 3 dimensions. Bye.